Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this. I sincerely apologize for the glare on my glasses. I keep trying to move around. I can't get out of it. Folks, I don't want to make this video. I do genuinely believe that Charlie Kirk is dead. I do feel like he was assassinated. Everything else, I can't explain it. I cannot. I have to first start with defining crisis actor. I have found not one, but two different crisis actors that were at the Charlie Kirk assassination. What do you mean, Sam? It's simple. One of them was also in 9/11 and the Boston bombing, the marathon bombing. He was at both events and the Charlie Kirk event. But that's not all. There's a gentleman who was a Sandy Hook father who was part of the lawsuit against InfoWars, who wrote and published a book in 2024. He too was also at the Charlie Kirk assassination. He was, and I quote unquote, closer than all of the students to Charlie at the time of his assassination. A crisis actor is a person, often a trained actor or volunteer, who portrays a disaster victim during an emergency drill. Their role is to simulate realistic scenarios for training first responders, such as police, firefighters, and emergency medical personnel, also the military. Crisis actors help create a high fidelity simulation of disasters, allowing emergency services to practice their skills in realistic environments. They can portray news reporters, relatives of victims, and concerned citizens to prepare emergency operation personnel for various emotional scenarios. What I'm going to share with you today made me very uncomfortable. That's the only way I can explain it. I am uncomfortable with this. The Holy Spirit in me is uncomfortable with this information. But this is not the only situation that I have found. Numerous people seem to always be at the wrong place at the wrong time, over and over and over. What is the chance of that, friends and family of the internet? How many of you have been caught in some shooting or, some big thing like this, or any kind of like devastating, the Maui fire, anything like that? How many of you have been caught in something once? But how many of you have been caught in something twice? Now, let me ask you, have any of you ever been caught in something 3 times? Really? So let's put on our thinking caps, get out your tin foil. I hate to say it. I hate to say it because I just published a book, Growing Under a Poisoned Sky. You can get this on eBay, Walmart, online. You can get it Barnes and Noble. You can get it on Amazon. You can even get it on Kindle. And people try to tell me this was a conspiracy. It's not. Growing Under a Poisoned Sky. You want to find out what they're doing with the weather? That they spray on you? What's wrong with your children? Take a peek at that book. It'll even help you remediate what has happened. All right. Make sure that you hit the like button, you share button, subscribe. Folks, look, YouTube quit paying me like 6 months ago. I'm getting everything ready. They quit paying me because they said actually almost been 7 months. My content was harmful. If you want to look in the top of contents and comments and row in our boat, please consider doing so. My husband does have a brain aneurysm. We do have surgery in 13 days. He will not be able to work for multiple weeks, and we don't have any sick days because, like you guys, I'm just an average person with a brain. I'm going to start this video at the beginning because if I just try to get to the point I want to get to, it doesn't make a lot of sense. So I am not promoting or agreeing with any content that I'm showing. I'm simply showing you something I think we all better be very aware of. Get ready to be extremely uncomfortable.
Paranoid or conspiracy minded you may be, we got to come to grips with the fact that what the government is actually doing is worse than we can possibly comprehend. There are some who want to convince themselves that this was not a WWE style dog and pony show aimed at infusing new life into the political machine and throwing new fish into the net of religiosity. We also have to admit that within our psychological framework rests a power and a vulnerability. And that power and vulnerability is trust. Trust enables us to get along with people and work together in life, but trust can also be exploited, easily exploited. And the social engineers and psychological operators know this. Since most people are good-hearted, they want to believe that everything they're seeing on TV or on the internet is exactly what's really happening. So most people, while good-intentioned, are easily manipulated and led astray. And then they become uncritical followers. Maybe it's good to remind people of things like this.
Before I start playing this gentleman's 6-year-old daughter was assassinated at Sandy Hook Elementary. Since then, he has written a book. He was part of the lawsuit against InfoWars. But this is him coming before the cameras. That's him right here, holding the white paper. I want you to watch everything he does from this moment on until they tell him that the cameras are rolling. Watch this.
If Robbie Parker, I assume he's going to come out to the microphones now and make a statement. Looks like the family is there and they're getting ready to make to come to the microphone. So we'll listen in.
Okay. So my name's Robbie Parker.
Maybe it's good to remind people of things like this so that in the future we can safeguard our minds from things like this.
I was maybe 10 or 15 feet away when it happened. And I was doing okay. And then I was putting my 5-year-old to bed, and she had me read her story about love. I just couldn't finish the story. I was thinking about Charlie's little girls, his wife. He was such a powerful human being, and at 31 years old, the things that he accomplished. It's like, we got some candles here, and I couldn't hold a candle to that at this moment. I was closer than any of the students, closer than maybe one security guard between him and I. And I heard the pop, and I knew immediately it was a gunshot. And as soon as I thought that was a gunshot, I saw Charlie's neck and the blood, and I just knew instantly that there was no chance that he was going to survive.
Now, I'm not saying in this video that any of these people are actors and actresses, but I got some serious questions. And
Yes, be very careful saying anything because you will be sued. We saw that. We saw that. So I'm going to leave that there. Here is the Sandy Hook father story. He writes a book. It says, after the shooting, broadcaster Alex Jones repeatedly claimed on his show InfoWars that the shooting was a hoax, starting and fueling a pervasive conspiracy theory that resulted in Parker and other Sandy Hook families becoming the target of harassment. So Parker joined other Sandy Hook families in litigation against Jones, suing him in Free Speech Systems, LLC, the parent company of the website InfoWars, for defamation. he no longer controls this. In the first chapter of his memoir, Parker writes about the day of the 2012 shooting and the first day of the trial against Jones set 10 years later in September 2022. I said, I spent so many years literally hating myself for that. I know it wasn't my fault. I know I couldn't have seen it happen, but that moment did when it ended up doing and how it spiraled and what it brought into our lives and other people. You know, you can read the articles. I'll list it all. Here's where I want you guys to understand what I'm trying to say. Let me show you something. Yet again, another instance where there was a crisis actor from a past event at a new event. And of course, this crisis actor happened to be one of Nancy Pelosi's favorite crisis actors. How does the public ever believe these stage events that are so obvious? So this woman, they're saying this woman with Pelosi is this woman, Highland Park survivor who found herself at Nashville school shooting calls for gun reform. How is she at both? That's the same woman. All right. I found this one. Let me get it. Let me pull it up and get it to the point. Wait. Before I do that, let me show you the other crisis actor that was at Charlie Kirk's assassination. And then I'll go through and show you multiple times that it's happened. Look at this one. How did the same lady who died at the Sandy Hook protecting kids also get injured at the Boston explosion? This woman and this woman. Donna was a few blocks away. Staff members, including principal, trying to help save children. Sandy Hook, Boston. It's the same. They use the same picture in both articles. They don't even try to hide it. They don't even try to hide it. Hold on. Let me keep going because I know I put it in here. Oh, and by the way, for all of y'all that get so mad at me, I've been screaming about this for years. Excuse me. Lauren Boebert, Scott Priestler, Candace Owens, as a producer who's conducted thousands of auditions and hired thousands of casting directors, they're crisis actors who create chaos. There she is. That's Candace Owens. I gotta tell people this is weird though. I mean, it's really weird for me. It made me very, very uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie. Oh no, where'd the old dude go? Huh. I'll find it for you guys. Hold on. I'll look on my phone if I have to. But until then, let me get you. And then there's this guy, Dr. H. Wayne Carver was at Sandy Hook. That's Newton, Connecticut. Look at him here. Unidentified person, Robb Elementary School, Uvalde, Texas. I mean, it could be a different guy. It's awfully close. Awfully close. All right. Sorry, guys. Here it is. All right. Let me get you set up here and I'll start looking for the other one that was at Charlie's and bring it out to you.
Today I'm going to talk about fake news and propaganda. It's one of my favorite topics. And in fact, in some ways, every single video I've ever done is about that. It's going to go over a whole lot of things. It's some who, some how, and some why of the current propaganda machine.
All right, let me pull it up to the one I want to start you guys at.
After 2017. All right, let's look at this one. For the second time in 2 years, they survived a mass shooting. It says, after surviving the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history, 3 friends were not expecting history to repeat itself 2 years later. In 2017, Christopher and George Cook were in Las Vegas during the Route 91 Harvest Festival when a gunman fired into the crowd, killing 58 and injuring more than 500. They managed to escape with no injuries. So these guys went to another music festival, the Garlic Festival, and there was another mass shooting. At the Garlic Festival, they were with this woman who they didn't know at the Country Music Festival in Las Vegas, but who they met later. Alicia Olive also survived the Route 91 festival. And they all went to Garlic, and they all got caught in a second mass shooting that was widely reported in the news. What are the odds? They're very unlucky, I guess. Oddly, tragedy strikes twice for California shooting survivors who witnessed Las Vegas massacre. So this guy, Nicholas Champion, and 50 or 60 others were at both the Route 91 Harvest Festival and at the Borderline Bar and Grill in California, 8th of November 2018. 1 year apart, roughly. 2 mass shootings. 2 mass shootings. Same group of people. This is getting really weird. But there's more. At the El Paso shooting, August 2019, parents of teen killed at Parkland were in El Paso during Walmart shooting. Manuel and Patricia Oliver, parent of Joaquin Oliver, were in town to unveil a memorial mural this weekend, they say. So, again, this family here was involved in 2 mass shootings in 1 year. I can't believe it. I mean, honestly, can you believe it? How often can this possibly happen? Well, one more time that I could find. UNC Charlotte grad who survived 2 mass shootings speaks out. 1 man, 2 mass shootings in the same year. Back in April, we shared with you the story of Joey Obaid. His sister is CN2 reporter Sarah Obaid. Joey is a recent UNC Charlotte graduate who was on campus when a gunman shot and killed 2 students there and injured several others. Shockingly, Joey happened to be at the Ned Pepper's bar in Dayton, Ohio this past weekend when tragedy hit once again. August 2019. And this was August 2019. Did you notice that one detail? His sister was a reporter. Sister was a reporter. Well, this guy, Nick Champion, who was at Las Vegas and the Borderline shootings, his sister, Whitney, is a reporter too. Works at BuzzFeed. Plus, I'm not sure if this guy's related, Matthew Champion. He is the deputy world news editor of BuzzFeed News in the UK. Are we talking about maybe a small group of people whose job is to be witnesses to mass shootings? I mean, how can this be? How can it be? All of these people were at multiple mass shooting events, all between the years of 2017 and 2019. Let's move on to something slightly different. This is the sun. This is the monster that went out there and was killed for the lie. Or you could look at it as what happens when someone talks, someone that's involved in all of this talks. Because let's look at Jason Spindler. Jason Spindler survived the 9/11 terror attack, but he was killed in the Kenya terrorist attack in January 2019. So here we go again. Another guy at two massive major events. Here's some other things about Jason Spindler. You can see that he's holding a sign, I'm from a refugee family. So you can see that he's in the progressive globalist group of people. He's a CEO of a company. In fact, was the co-founder and CEO of a company called IDEV. I look up IDEV International. What does it do? Unlocks business potential in emerging markets. And to me, it's very ironic or telling that they have a picture of a person of color holding a smartphone in their hand. Okay, so this guy, Jason Spindler, that's his business, IDEV, unlocking potential from emerging markets. This is what he did. And here's a picture of him with his co-workers. Jason Spindler at IDEV. Jason worked closely with Patrick Watson. You look up Patrick Watson. Here he is on LinkedIn. It says he's IDEV International. And one of the things he did was 5 clean cook stove businesses for Global Alliance for Clean Cook Stoves.
Watch this.
My jaw almost dropped when I saw that because I've already looked into this. When I did a big story about the Clintons in Haiti, believe it or not, the Global Alliance for Clean Cook Stoves comes up there. Advancing the Global Alliance for Clean Cook Stoves, ClintonFoundation.org, 2011, but she started earlier than that, as you can see here. Secretary Clinton announces the Global Alliance for Clean Cook Stoves. Hillary Rodham Clinton, Global Alliance for Clean Cook Stoves. Global Alliance for Clean Cook Stoves. I mean, she appears all over the place constantly for this thing. Must be really important, right? Here she is in 2011 with Jose Andres, and these guys ended up partnering in Haiti. Jose Andres is a big celebrity chef guy, and he has an organization called, here it is here, World Central Kitchen. Look how much he made in 2017. Look how much he pulled in, $21 million. But way back in the day when he first started, wasn't so much. 2010s when he first got involved here, $50,000. It was only $416 the next year. Mustn't have been any tragedies to capitalize on in 2011 or something. And it just keeps going up and up and up and up, you can see. And as I showed you, the final result, recent annual revenue, $21 million in 2017. So it's good money. You see what I'm saying? It's good money. So what happened to Jason Spindler? He died in the Kenya terrorist attack. Maybe he's one of those people who talked. You know, there's no way they could pull this off. There's too many people involved. Somebody would talk. People probably do talk. People die. Or maybe he really did die in the Kenya terrorist attack because he's got to be right there, front and center, in these war-torn zones in order to unlock the business potential. Like this sham of clean cook stoves. Look who else is involved in the clean cook stoves. Cemex and the UN Foundation sign agreement to improve.
Okay, so I'm going to link all this for you guys. It'll be in the description of the video. Why did you show us all that, Samantha? Because it is so much bigger. All right, now that I've laid the story, all right, I did find for you guys. Remember at the beginning, like the first day Charlie Kirk was assassinated, look this up, George Zinn, Z-I-N-N. George was the dude the police were dragging and his pants were down and he was screaming, I killed Charlie, I did it. And then he confesses that he didn't, that he just wanted the shooter to get away. George Zinn was in a documentary for 9/11. Okay. In 2013, he was charged with bomb threats at a marathon in the aftermath of the Boston bombing. He ran interference, he claims, for Charlie Kirk's murderer. Last week, he was arrested on child porn. Guess what we can't do? Nobody can question him. He's out of the 3 and done. Okay. You can look him up. He did a 9/11 documentary. You can find it at Dissident, Dissident. I can't see the rest of it on Twitter. All right, let's go back and review Erica Kirk. She starts a nonprofit in 2017, an angel nonprofit in Romania for orphans. Right? 17. Fast forward. She's invited to be in beauty pageants. She becomes Miss Arizona. Then she does a music video. Then she's on an episode of The Bachelor, which if you ever watched that show, everybody was sleeping with everybody. Then on a trip to Israel with her mother, she looks back and sees Charlie Kirk. And then she goes on an interview and says, either her or him, I'm not going to be your employee. I'm going to be your wife, one of them, And then she's the widow that will create the storm around the world. Don't hate me. I'm not the one who makes these people do this. All right. I told you a bit about bloodlines yesterday. I'm doing some more research on that. There's something here. There's something here. I realized that I watched a video of Erica Kirk laughing and talking with employees of Turning Point, and Charlie Kirk had only been dead 20 days. My husband's 46 with an aneurysm. I've been with him a whole lot longer than Erica was with Charlie. I understand that. I just don't see it. I'm not seeing it. Something's wrong. Be mad at me. I don't care. But there's too many people popping up in too many different activities, different disasters, different mass shootings, different attacks. It's the same people. Nobody's that unlucky. I don't believe in luck. No, something is wrong. I have now identified 2 crisis actors involved with the Charlie Kirk assassination. You tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. If you'd like to buy me a cup of coffee, row in our boat. I don't know. I mean, I reapplied to be monetized the day that Charlie Kirk was assassinated. I've not heard a word. It's October 1st. So I don't know, you guys, but I had to bring this to you. I did. Oh, by the way, don't forget, get your copy of Growing Under a Poison Sky. I love you guys so much. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think.